It has been a while since I've held the camera like this. I forgot my hat. No hat in this video. I got an exciting one today. First, I gotta take the wife to her friends, and then we're on the road. Bye, hon. Well, guys, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but this iPhone 14 is actually really good with photography. And today I'm gonna give you 7 tips to improve your photos on this camera. Let's get right into it. The first tip is going to be enable the ProRes RAW. I have a video on that. You can watch that right up here. And that video will go in depth on how I edit my photos. That brings you to tip number 2. Shoot in the ProRes, but that means you have to edit your own photos. So use Lightroom. There's other free apps you could probably try. I'm not familiar with them, but Lightroom is a great app, a very professional way to edit your photos and get them out there for the world. Definitely take advantage of the ProRes RAW. Isn't this view behind me just incredible? I mean, there's light rays that come through, but man, Kodiak, even when it's brown, it looks absolutely amazing. I can't get over it. And you know, this is actually a really great place to talk about tip number 3 and 4. And tip number 3 is to focus on your composition. And I invite you to definitely practice with this. It definitely takes a long time. You learn things over the years. I'm still learning things, and I'm pretty sure when I'm retired and dead, I will still be learning things. You really want to get everything in the frame that you want and kind of keep it simple yet complex. You notice around here there's a lot of bushes, and that's going to bring me to tip number 4. You want to make sure that in your foreground or even in the background in some situations, there's nothing too distracting to your eye. And what you want to do is just pay attention to branches that might be in the way, a leaf that looks out of place, maybe even move that leaf in place and make that look good. One thing that I don't like about this spot is there's so many dead branches and bushes most of the time. There's just nothing you could do with a wide angle lens, so you might have to break out the telephoto, the 2 or 3x zooms on your camera. They do a really great job. You're probably thinking to yourself right now, why is your screen diagonal? Well, that brings me to tip number 5, and that is stop posting diagonal photos. Nobody wants to see the ocean dumping into the ends of Earth. That's much better. Everyone's iPhone and even most modern cameras, actually I'm gonna go ahead and say every single modern camera has grid lines, and that's basically the 2 lines here and the 2 lines here dividing your section into thirds. Take advantage of those lines. Make sure the back, the furthest part of your photo is straight, and that's how you level the horizon. Just make it parallel with one of those grid lines, and that will make your photos straight. Those grid lines are basically a cheat code for learning the rule of thirds. Basically, what you want to do is put your subject on one of those lines, or put the foreground on 2 of those lines or 1 of those lines, depending on what you want to get. Basically, just use those lines to line up subjects. It works like a charm. Let me show you with my camera. So I'm gonna come around here, and let's just say I wanted to take a picture of my tripod. Now, if I do this, that's just a normal photo. There's nothing wrong with it, centering your subject, not a big deal. But if you want to add a little bit of character to your photos, maybe go down a little bit, put that tripod on the left line, and there you go. That's the rule of thirds, basically. Maybe we want to take a photo like this. That's what it looks like in the center, but you're giving the photo no room to breathe. Put the camera on that line, and look at that. Now you got a nice view of your photo, of your camera. So that's just a really quick rundown of what the rule of thirds is. I didn't go too depth. It's not the greatest photo in the world, but you get the idea. Just put your subject on the lines and make some magic happen. Don't just blindly shoot. Put a couple seconds of effort in, and you'll watch your photos improve tenfold. Alrighty guys, and quickly we have reached number 7, and this one's really interesting, and I don't think a lot of people, even photographers with normal cameras, do this. And what you want to do is play with the angles on your camera. And when I say angles, we're not talking just high versus low. What we're talking about is tilting the phone down like this up like this, that can really change the perception of your photo. And let me just show you what I mean. Let's open up the camera app, and you can see me here. This is the camera app. This is just a middle shot, and the camera's plane is very vertical. It's just straight up and down. Now, if I point the camera down, you can see how it brings the foreground out, and it really isolates those mountains in the background. If I point the camera up, now we're looking at some sky. The foreground's kind of gone. It's kind of flat and boring, especially since there's nothing pretty in the sky. And the second part is just going up and down. They're called high and low angles. Like, here we go. This is a middle angle at the center of the horizon on the center of the camera. And we'll point down like that. We'll point up like that. But if you do a high angle and point down, you can see you kind of open up a wide variety of options. And same thing, if you go down, this is looking straight ahead, but if you point down, look how that foreground really just opens up. And it really opens up when you go to a wide shot. And one thing you could do is, I like this little rock right here. This is just nothing fancy, but there's some little spectacles on there. If you just shot like this, it kind of looks boring. You're missing the subject. But when you maybe make a rule of thirds, point down, a low angle, get a nice straight horizon. Make sure that horizon looks nice and center. Point it down a little bit more. Look at that. It's gonna be a nice sunset. What I showed you is how to really open up your creativity and make your photos better than what they were yesterday. iPhone 14 is truly incredible, and I'm excited to see what the future holds with smartphones. The future is here right now though. 2022, this 14 is the answer for mobile photography. I really hope that you learned something in this video. It was a very quick 7-tip video. If you guys want me to go more in depth with anything on this, let me know. Leave a comment, and we could definitely work on some photography tips in general for you, whether you're using an iPhone, a Samsung, a Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fujifilm, anything. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go find where to get a sunset photo, because it's going to be nice, and then I'll go ahead and leave you with an iPhone photo that I took tonight to prove that the iPhone is very capable of photography. Well, I'm vlogging on the iPhone right now. That could be another video. Really nice sunset behind me, like I promised. I got a photo that I really like. You can check that out right here. If you want to see how I edit my iPhone photos, go ahead and click this link right here. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's see what the drone could do with the sunset.